just scoot so you can't see it. So you can't see what's going on. But tap the screen and, share out the live. Not too much, though, but enough to get people up in here. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. And again, we back in the time. No, I'm just kidding. Well, we are talking again, promoting my new album. No, I'm just kidding. We are here to discuss what we need to continue to discuss, and I'm going to push this message of, and there you go, where we are going to, give up on the white men. And I am only speaking to those who are not, white men. So should be pretty simple. Nothing wild, just want to give those who, hey, Vike, how you doing? Happy belated Mother's Day. I hope you had a beautiful, soft day. Nothing wild, just full of relaxation that you deserve. Let me go ahead and get my backup up here. Where's she at? Oh, I gotta accept it. Okay, cool. All right. Yes, help me tap this. Help me tap the screen. Share the live out just a little bit. I'm going to do that. And we are going to talk again today on, giving up on white men. We can go through some history. Hopefully we don't hit the Yahtzee pipeline like we did before, but you never know. They might come back and, get mad again. I don't know why they mad. They don't like me anyway. They talking about burning me alive. So, you would think that they would be happy that I don't want to come around. You know what I'm saying? But they offended by it. You would think that they wouldn't be. I don't want to come around. You know what I'm saying? But they offended by it. You would think that they wouldn't be. Let me see where I want to be today. Did everybody have a good Mother's Day? That's Did everybody have a good Mother's Day? That's like from scratch. They didn't just buy it and I'm frozen like Elsa. Am I still frozen? Oh, I'm good now? Okay. Did it look cute though? Hopefully it looked good. Like this. Should I sit like this in case it freezes again? Okay. Anyways, like Zoolander was like, I can't turn right or something like that. It was from scratch. Got it. Okay. It's lasagna from scratch. At least it was from scratch, right? All right. So I thought it would be fun today to kind of walk through, hey, Bill.
Hey, Queen.
Oh, I love it when you talk to me like that. Let's go ahead and help me with this first goal to get me, hey, Block Daddy, to get me into the algo. I thought it would be fun to maybe weave in a little bit of who cares what liberals think they want man in woman's sport. You mean men, sweetie? It's interesting no one cares because y'all didn't have a problem with George W. Bush being in a, woman's sport. Since he was in high school, he was in, technically a woman's sport for a really long time. He even competed in the collegiate level in a woman's sport. And in fact, Republicans didn't have an issue with it at all. He was the president back to back. I actually do have evidence. There's clear evidence. He was a cheerleader, proudly a cheerleader in high school and in college. George W. Bush was a cheerleader. You can look it up. He's not shy about it. We've all known that George W. Bush is a cheerleader. He was a male cheerleader, and technically, cheerleading is and has always been known as a woman's sport, right? And he competed in it. He took it very seriously. There's an issue with it. I don't mind it. He looked really good too, actually, when he was younger in competing in it. And you never had an issue with him being in a woman's sport. He's as a cisgendered male. You never saw him lacking, leadership of as being, a leader of the Republican Party. You didn't think that there was an issue with him being able to be commander in chief, right? When he led everybody in for the WAR on terror, right? Because of course he was commander in chief when 9/11 happened. If I should remind you, no one cares. So, and it's not as though this was that long ago. Technically, I would argue that this is modern history. So I'm a little bit confused why you're so upset with men and women's sports, right? When George W. Bush was the Republican president before Trump. So that's his predecessor. So the Republican Party has never been against men and women's sports, technically. I mean, didn't you guys love George W. Bush? I mean, you guys not had him in there twice, back to back. So, I mean, I don't really get like what your angle is with that. It's a little. I think it's beautiful. He took being a cheerleader very seriously too. I mean, it was a legacy for him. I think he did great. I would look up his photos. He was very good looking, actually. I think for his demographic. As you guys like to say about me, you're really good looking for a black girl. I'm going to say that about for a white guy, right? I'm going to start saying that about you guys for an ice monkey. He was attractive. He was an attractive ice monkey for his time, actually. So yeah, you should look it up. Can we get a B? And also, he was a fellow cheerleader. We are cheerleaders. Roll call. Right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Call me Big Red. Right? I'm Whoa Whitney. Hey, dude, it's Darcy. I'm still Big Red. Right? I mean, if you know, you know. But I mean, I would love some help here on my first set of gifts here, the heart puffs. If you guys can help me out, knock out the first set of TikTok gifts. They are TikTok pennies. Help get me into the algorithm with some of these heart puffs to knock it out real quick. But yes, I guess no one cares didn't like my fun facts about how the Republican Party has always supported men and women's sports since George W. Bush, and probably far beyond. In fact, we have had transgender athletes competing in sports since probably even before the 1970s. But I do know in the 1970s, we did have somebody go to the U.S. Open, and they competed in, it was like a doubles. They did not win in that competition, but they did compete. And no one had an issue then with transgender athletes competing at that time. I can actually pull up because their name is slipping me right now. But I always save this link because I always think it's interesting when people say they have an issue, but they don't actually. Hey, Milk Dude, but they don't have the facts. 1977, Renee Richards competed in the World Tennis who is a transgender woman, and reached the doubles final in the U.S. Open. However, she didn't win. Richards and her doubles partner, Betty Ann Stewart, lost the finals to Martina. So if you are a Real Housewives of Miami fan, you know who Martina Navratilova is. And so it was Martina Navratilova and Betty Stove. they beat them, and they were all the other three were all cisgendered women. So this is, just an example, even from the 1970s, that transgender athletes, especially transgender women, have been competing in sports, and it has never been a topic or an issue at all. It's just become, something to focus on, something to just, make an issue for people that, in my opinion, want to be bullies and have problems. Maybe they're questioning, or they just are just weird themselves. I don't know. But yeah, Renee Richards did this in 1977. And we even have another example in 2021. Laurel Hubbard competed. This is just to compete the myth that if someone is a transgender woman, that they are going to automatically dominate, right? It's just not true, because people don't know science. So I don't want to make their brain explode. We know it's science. I'm not going to get into that, because we know they don't even know what pronouns are. So I'm not even going to get into the science behind it. But Laurel Hubbard competed in weightlifting at the 2020 Summer Olympics. And even though she had a lot of media attention, she didn't win any medals. Right. So the whole idea that automatically, if you are a transgender woman competing in sports amongst cisgender women, that you're automatically going to dominate, it's just not true. And this is something that we've already seen before. And it didn't become a topic until recently, until they wanted to just, attack a marginalized group of people and harm them. So yeah. So again, to that person that wanted to say liberals want men and women's sports. In fact, actually, Republicans don't mind men and women's sports. They actually vote for them to become presidents of the United States. George W. Bush. So, anyways, back to my actual topic. Why we should give up on white men. So I did actually start making like a higher level thesis just on my own. I'm not studying anything. I'm not going after any degrees, except for my own university. That is just Queen V. Lee University. Join the blog Discord. There is a channel called Queen V. Lee University. And I just started looking at men are the problem. And it was just men, because men disproportionately occupy positions of power and influence across U.S. government, corporate leadership, law enforcement, and institutional governance, policy priorities and systematic incentives often skew towards outcomes that reinforce harm, inequality, and risk, particularly around violence, economic insecurity, and institutional accountability. I was like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. That's a good high level thesis to what I'm thinking. But then as I was starting to dig a little further, I'm starting to think it might just be a main demographic that we need to maybe not support here. And every time I bring up this topic, they come out the woodwork. It's like they're mad that I don't want to help them. I'm not saying that they can't get help, they can't find community. I just don't want to have community with them. And hey, Gina. Hey, girl. Everybody, if you're not following Gina in the chat, I recommend you follow Gina right now. Gina is amazing. Gina is the next creator that is being supported by the Bridge Party, which is led by Casso. And if you don't know who Casso is, go find out about him. He's great. The equipment that I have, the fact that you can see me so clear, you got the lighting, you got the microphone, all of that was supported and crowdfunded by the Bridge Party. And it is all about Black and Brown unity. And Gina is the next creator up for that support. She's amazing. Because of her, I've been learning a lot more about the Indigenous community. What did you say to me, Milk Dud? What did I do with the banner? The banner needs to come down. And I've actually started reading the Indigenous people's history of the United States. And Sajida and I are going to be doing a side-by-side book reading on TikTok so we can all read it together. And it's funny because I was telling Short Skirts this morning, I don't know if I'm a good fit to read this on TikTok, because as I'm reading it, I'm like, what the fuck is going on the entire time? Because what the hell? But it's important. I think I'm starting to come to the conclusion. I'm not even taking a big chunk out of this book, but I'm already at the conclusion that if we want to liberate all of us, and listen, I am a Black American woman. If we want to liberate everyone here in this country, it needs to start with standing in lockstep with Indigenous people. Because yes, one of the greatest crimes in the world absolutely is the Atlantic slave trade. However, next to that, one of the most egregious G-sides that has happened and continues to happen is the G-side that has been committed on the Indigenous people, and it's continuing to happen. And they have been standing in an active resistance towards colonial settler colonization, which settler colonization cannot be done without violence. And you have been lied to. And the only way to stop it is if you resist, and Indigenous people have been resisting. And we need to stand with them and make sure that they can continue to hold on to their land, and it's the land that you're sitting on today. So if you want to read on that book, it's The Indigenous People's History to the United States. Follow me, follow Sajida, and we are going to set up to read it together. SAC unreleased. Obsessed with what? You want to come talk to me? You talking about white men? I'm actually trying to get rid of them. But if you want to talk about it, you can come ask me why. You don't have to like yell at me from the chat. It would be better if you just like tell me why you think I'm obsessed. We ain't got to fight.
Yeah, stop being so angry.
They got 44 more acres. They listen. Okay. This is a funny thing. Listen, I could flip this into talking about Indigenous people right now. Okay. I don't mind. And this could be another reason why we need to give up on white men. Number one, when these Euro people came up over here, they was standing in awe. Actually, this is another reason why we got to give up on white men. They was standing in awe at the fact that Indigenous people bathed. Y'all nasty. They was standing in awe that Indigenous people were bathing. They was like, hey, y'all, we came up over here to the Americas, bruh. And let me tell y'all, they was like, let me tell y'all something, yo. These Indigenous people, they was getting in the river every day. They was like every day the Indigenous people was getting in the river for real. And they was bathing in the river no matter what the temperature was. They was getting in the river and they was washing themselves, and they was washing the infants and the babies too. They was in shock. The white people were in shock that the Indigenous people was cleaning themselves every single day. Okay? Because they ain't never seen that shit before. They was, how did it happen? When the European colonizers came here, they saw that Indigenous people had systems set up, because Mesoamerica, that's, what it was called. A lot of it, corn. Okay, corn was the crop. Okay, that was the crop. I might be wrong on this, but I think they believe that this crop was maybe given to them by the gods. Someone educate me on that, something like that. But corn was popping. Okay, they had corn set up. Period. Thank you for joining the V Hive, and it's a V Hive with a V, not a B. Beyonce, we love everything that you've done for the world. Okay, I didn't want to get sued, so they had corn popping. Okay, and let me tell you, they had, I believe actually, I got my book. Baby, I got my book right here. They had, I believe it was 100 million people up in the Americas already, and in Europe they only had like 50 million of y'all motherfuckers all up in Europe, and it was go ahead.
Yeah, it was estimated to be around 100 million, thousands of tribes, and some tribes we don't know about even to this day. So what book is this?
Boom. An Indigenous. Oh, hold up. I didn't pay. Hold up. Don't look back there. So yeah, they actually had the total population of the hemisphere was 100 million at the end of the 15th century. Okay, and them punk ass Europeans though, they had 50 million. Okay, so they was like, why the fuck? How the fuck they get so many people up over here? Because they had they had a disease-free paradise. Okay, a disease-free paradise was up in America. Okay, I'm talking. They wasn't nasty. You know who was nasty? White men, the whites. Okay, y'all was, and they was like, how the fuck these people was so clean? And I'm gonna tell you, they had. This is what the indigenous people had. So I don't want y'all calling them fucking savages is nothing, because I'm gonna tell you, y'all need to listen to our podcast. I'm gonna tell you who the savages are. It's the white people. Okay, they observed. They was like, how the fuck these people doing it? They said the certainty, they had herbal medicine, which we kind of know. They even have surgery and dentistry, but most importantly, hygienic and ritual bathing kept diseases at bay. Settler observers in all parts of the Americas marveled at the frequent bathing, even in winter and cold climates. One commented that the native people go to the river and plunge in and wash themselves before they dress daily. One wrote, men, women, and children from early infancy are in the habit of bathing. And they told you in school that the indigenous people were savages, but y'all motherfuckers
Sure
weren't
did.
bathed.
Baby, my teacher used to say that they used to walk around with spears and stuff ready to unalive people.
At least the
And I
niggas'
and I
balls was clean.
yeah,
Sorry,
come on.
his
Come on.
nuts was
Yeah,
clean,
but what my teacher didn't say was they was defending themselves.
but the nuts was clean. They had, of course, they
Yeah,
told
Queen,
you that they
the
was
nuts was
naked.
clean.
At least
Yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah.
take clean naked nuts than sweaty settler sweaty dick. Like the fuck is we talking about? They bathed every day.
Sweaty
Winter
sweat. Whoa, that's a tongue twister.
sweaty settler dick. I will take naked clean native nuts all day. Like what the fuck is we talking about? Are you kidding me? I don't care. I would be naked too. Shit. Okay. But also on top of that, they also had really good diets. They had healthy, mostly vegetarian diets based on a staple, like I said, corn. That was they shit. And they knew how to farm on they fucking land because this is they shit, right? They had corn, but they also had wild fish, fowl, and four-legged animals too. So they were abundant and ceremonial, and you know they was cool. They had a disease-free spot. The book was it still goes into more. It goes deep into talking about like uh centuries ago, like how they were advanced in science, mathematics, because they talk about the Mayan calendar, and even to this day, how they're shocked on how they were able to predict so many things when it comes to like planetary alignments. And then it starts to talk into more how not everything was great, right? There were some rulers, right? When you start to get into like they start talking about the Aztec times, there were some, just disputes and whatnot that happened where there was revolting, where some that were doing, I guess what you would call insurrection, aligned with Cortez and them, and that if they did not, they wouldn't been able to overthrow. However, they were not understanding what was going to happen after that, right? When with Cortez and them, because they were aligned with the stanky ass Europeans. But what's really interesting is how they're defining certain things like Colombia, right? This is why we also need to give up on white men, because they want to hold on to justifying understanding the like why they justified taking over the land that even Britain said was illegal to take. Did you know that, Bill?
Thank you.
Oh my
No.
God! Thank you for the money gun, Mia. Get a real large. Did you know that they actually wrote that they weren't allowed to go back a certain place?
I did it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find the exact because I was pissed off. I highlighted a lot. So there was actually a law that Britain said, oh yeah, Britain had made, so there was a Northwest Ordinance, which was the first law of inception of the Republic, revealing the motive, desiring independence. It was the blueprint gobbling up the British protected Indian Territory, which was Ohio country on the other side of Appalachian, and I don't know how to say this word, Alleghenies, Alleghenies, Allergist something, but that part. Britain had made settlement there illegal with the proclamation of 1763, right? And then President Jefferson, who's on my list, aptly described the new settler states' intentions for horizontal and vertical continental expansion. This is another reason why I ain't fucking with the white man. This is what this motherfucker said. He said, because at first everybody was stuck to the Atlantic colonies, right? Because, hey, what's up, Steve? Allegheny. Thank you. Allegheny. I need to write that Allegheny because they ain't spelled like that. Thank you so much. So when people go to write, when America was founded, where can you draw a map? Most people draw a map from the East Coast, Atlantic to the Pacific. Because, you know, when they got that weak ass song, this land is your land, this land is my land. Fuck that song. Okay? I don't like that shit. I thought it was a banger back in the day, but it ain't a banger. Okay? It ain't. It's a colonizer song. That is because of the manifest destiny indoctrination that they gave all of us in school. Yeah, I got a little bit of a catchy beat, but it's not a good song. Hold on, let me update my live goal. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna do the spinning soccer. I ain't good at soccer because I fall all the time. Y'all be tripping me, and then I take it really personal, so I can't play soccer because I be trying to hit a bitch. Okay. He said, however present interests may restrain us within our own limits, it is impossible not to look forward to the distant times when our rapid multiplication will expand itself beyond those limits and cover the whole northern, if not the southern continent, with the people speaking the same language, governed in similar forms by similar laws. The vision of manifest destiny found form a few years later in the Monroe Doctrine, signaling the intention of annexing and dominating former Spanish colonial territories in the Americas and the Pacific, right? So, in the United States, the founding and development of the Anglo-American settler state involves a narrative about Puritan settlers who had covenant with God to take the land. And this eventually reinforced the Columbus myth of the doctrine of discovery. Have you ever heard of that, Bill?
No, this is all no.
Right. Okay. The doctrine of discovery is baked all throughout our show.
Period, Period.
Thank you for joining the
Sorry, I
Beehive.
really like that.
I appreciate it. It's with a V, not a B. Beyonce, we love everything that you've done for the world. Okay. This is called The Indigenous Peoples History of the United States. We're going to do a full-on live book reading, me and Sajida. I'm just actually going through just the introduction a little bit because these are more reasons why we leaving the white men behind, because the white men, they's fucked up. Okay. They started this shit. The doctrine of discovery is what's fucked us all up. Right. And the Columbus myth, right? You know, that motherfucker ain't never stepped foot in the U.S. You know that, right?
Okay, that part I know.
Yes. Okay. So I will actually read to you. So the Columbus myth, right? It suggests that from U.S. independence onward, colonial settlers saw themselves as a part of a world system of colonization. So in order to keep this myth alive, they bake Columbus or Columbia all throughout American things, right? So the actual visual of Columbia is the poetic Latinate name used to reference to the United States from its founding throughout the 19th century, was based on the name Christopher Columbus. The land of Columbus was and still is represented by the image of a woman in sculptures and paintings. But do you know any institutions with the name Columbia that come to mind?
Colleges.
Like what?
Columbia College.
Right. But Columbia University. But
Hmm.
what's the number one thing?
Shit.
It's too easy.
I know. It's so easy that I'm going right past it.
Anybody in the chat know the thank you.
Come
The
on, y'all, help me
District
out.
of
District of
Columbia.
Columbia. Okay, got it.
Our
I knew
very
that, Everett.
our very nation's capital is based on the Columbus myth, which is tied to the United States founding and development of the Anglo-American settler state, involving the narrative that Puritan settlers who had the covenant with God to take the land. The doctrine of discovery, the Columbus myth, that they have a God-given right just to take land. And that's what our nation's capital name is founded on. And it gets even worse. And I wonder, I need to go back and see if Kamala Harris actually came out to this song, because apparently the 1798 hymn Hail Columbia was the early national anthem and is now used whenever the vice president of the United States make a public appearance. So I'm curious if Kamala Harris actually came out to Hail Columbia, because that would be interesting. I would hope not. I would hope that she did it, because I wouldn't fucking like that. And then also Columbus Day being a federal holiday. So, and another thing that I was looking at is they also are using American culture as an I can't ever say this word. Amalgamation of all its ethnic groups, right? Kind of just trying to make this thing called a melting pot. That in itself is a way to try to erase indigenous existence. Okay. And it goes further into talking about it robs the existence of the casualties of indigenous people with colonization, right? Settler colonization cannot come without violence and robbery. So what they try to teach you in history class is that it was an even exchange, as if indigenous people just gave up their land. There's no way. They just gave
Right.
that shit up, right? It was a one-sided robbery and schmurder, right? There was no
Right.
right.
Yeah, but some people even try to twist it though, Queen, and say that the Europeans came with open arms and the natives was the savages. And the Europeans tried everything and they had no choice but to do the things that they had to do. I mean, that's completely absurd.
Oh yeah. It's like it gets even worse. So they actually didn't even have the word G side until after the H cost, right? Is when they made an actual definition, right? But before we get there, multiculturalism became the cutting edge of the post civil rights movement of U.S. history revisionism, right? For this scheme to work and affirm U.S. historical progress, indigenous nations and communities had to be left out of the picture. Okay. They couldn't be included in this because it's going to mess up the narrative, for I guess white people, right? See, I'm assuming, because I don't think I'm in this, as territorially and treaty-based peoples in North America. They did not fit the grid of multiculturalism, but were included by transforming them into I don't know how to say this word. Incohate. It's Inchoate. Can somebody tell me how to say that? Incohate. Oppressed racial group. I don't know what the fuck that word is, but it's an oppressed racial group. While colonized Mexican Americans and Puerto Ricans were dissolved into another such group, variously called Hispanic or Latino. So inchoate, okay, so they were in an inchoate oppressed racial group. And then this is like, I've heard okay, so someone that is indigenous, I'm pretty sure if I sit on Gina Live, this is kind of what they be talking about. Because I'd be listening and I'm kind of confused. But as the book is so good, and I'm glad y'all be kind of talking about this where like there's people who are like Mexican and maybe Puerto Rican and they like trying to find their tribe. And I think this is like around the time when they start getting separated and stuff, where they like we're trying to make like different like racial groups and like erase indigenous people, and they started like separating y'all out and like taking you out of your own like background and stuff. And I think this is when it happened. It made y'all own oppressed racial group, and then it kind of like ripped you guys up from focus on assimilation, which is through colonization, period. What's up, Ari? Or Ari. So even though like when they have like multicultural day, and which is like cool and stuff, you can talk about your own culture, it still really is a slight at indigenous people, because it was used as a mechanism to erase them, because it is really in a way like two things can exist at the same time. It was a major crime that yes, like colonizers, I want to say is one of the first major crimes that colonizers committed here on this land, was what they did to the genocide that they did or continuing to do to indigenous people. And then at the same time, they were committing the chattel slavery to enslaved Africans at the same time. It was like two horrific crimes happening. Boom, 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 boom. Right?
And it was premeditated. It was all planned. Remember, Columbus, he didn't, when he took his first voyage, he didn't go there and can't. No, he went back to Spain. Correct? Was it Spain he was from?
Yeah, well, the Spanish
Yeah,
people,
he went back there, and then he came back the second time. That's when all hell broke loose. So this was planned, premeditated. Was exactly what the game plan was.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see somebody was in the guest.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to. I don't like to get foreign policy wrong, y'all. That's why I always question, and I make sure I get it correct.
You're totally fine. Hi, Air Sick. Can I have your age for TikTok reasons and your race?
Top of the evening, good evening. 27, excuse me, I'm drinking a smoothie. 27 years of age, and to the social construct of race, I'm black.
Okay. What did you want to add to the conversation?
So I don't agree with this take. I think that though there's evil people in this world,
this take that specifically. Sorry, I'm talking about a book. Sorry, I want to be clear on what you're talking
it's
about.
time to give up on white men. I don't really believe in this idea.
Okay.
Because I'm like this. If you're a good person, I believe that anybody is capable of witnessing wrong and realizing wrong from right. I think that most people are capable of this. My take on this is simple. You have different, no matter what nationality, no matter what color your skin, no matter what you come from, you either are going to be something good in this world or something bad in it. Okay. So the idea that we should just give up on a certain group of folk because of their skin color, I think that that's dangerous. I think that's very dangerous.
Okay.
I think the moment we give up on trying to teach people things and help people that may think a wrong way or do wrong things, or once we try to normalize giving up on these people, I think that that's going to cause more damage than good.
Okay. I'm glad that you believe and think that, but I'm not doing shit with them.
Sister, I would encourage you to think differently.
There's other people I can spend my time on than white men.
I agree. You can always choose to surround yourself with good people.
I I do have
over
to be.
bad people. But the thing is that not all white people are bad.
I didn't say that.
No, no, but that's what you're kind of implying. You're like, I'm gonna stay away from all
That's
white people because it's
I
like,
didn't
well,
I did not say that at all. You're projecting that. There are
so my
good white
question,
there are
okay,
plenty of white men in this chat and in my community, right? Online and in real life, in my family as well, okay, that are married into my family, y'all. Okay.
I don't understand your
That are
take then, sister. Why are
I'm
you
not
saying,
I did I stop speaking? That
well,
are that have done the work, continue to do the work, and I encourage them to go keep doing the work with other white men. They will be far more impactful than I am. So, more power to you, white men. Keep talking to other white men. Me as a black woman, I'm good. I am not effective. It is clear as day that I am not effective in helping white men change their minds. They do not
okay,
give a fuck about my
so
perspective.
you've made your point. You individually don't care no more.
No,
I can't make you.
there's a lot of people who do agree with me, and it is what it is. But you're acting as though what I'm saying is invalid, and that's disingenuous.
I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that what the message you're putting on your live, and you're
It's not
telling
bad.
other people to give
It's not
up
a bad.
on
It's
people
not a
because of their
bad.
skin tone is
I'm
it's
not.
not
It's
as
not a bad.
dangerous.
It's not just their skin tone. It's also their gender as well. You didn't read the whole thing.
Huh?
I said white men. Yeah, white men. That's their gender.
That's
I
my
want. I
whole
want you.
point. Is
I want
it's
you to be.
not.
Why are you? Why are you simping for white men? They have so much
This
privilege.
ain't about simping,
You
sister. This is
are. You
about
are. You are.
acknowledging
Why
wrong
is it when
teachings.
I speak, you interrupt me, but I allowed you to finish your thought, and you're not giving me the same respect, and it's rude. Okay. You may not
Your
like
ideology is rude,
you're
sister.
not you may not like what I'm saying, but I'm going to continue to say it, whether you like it or not, because I am not here for your approval. Okay? I am going to stand firm that it's time for black people, brown people, indigenous people, and white women to stop wasting their time falling on deaf ears and focus on ourselves, building ourselves up, working on ourselves. And white men, they're good. They got
Period,
themselves.
bitch. Period.
They've made it clear that they are good. They don't need us to help them.
Okay, I'd
They
like to
don't need
respond.
us. But they hold on. But there's someone above you. Yatu Salves, can I have your age for TikTok and
Well,
your
can I
race?
respond to what you just
Yeah,
said to me?
you're gonna respond after him. I just needed to introduce him. Your age
Yeah, 40.
and your race.
White.
Okay, go ahead and respond.
So, what I'm telling you in response to what you just said,
Mhm.
okay, I respect how you feel. At the same time, I don't support the message, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think the moment we give up on trying to educate people, whether it's wouldn't give a damn if it's I don't care what your skin color is. I think the moment we give up trying to teach people to be good, something good in this world, I think that's when we lose as humanity. This whole white and black shit, I'm not with it, sister. I'm not with this whole thing. Give up on this person because they're white men. Give up on this person because they're this. Give up. I don't fuck with that message because at the end of the day, as a man in this world, if you see wrong and see somebody doing wrong, no, regardless of their skin color, you should probably call them out and help them and teach them. And knowledge is always obtainable. You can always learn something from somebody. So what I'm getting at is I'm all about humanity, not this whole fuck this guy because he's white, fuck that because he's this and that. I don't like that. I don't like that idea, sister. I'm be honest with you.
Well,
But
I
that's
don't know.
just me going against what you're saying.
Well, you're making an assumption that I'm gonna automatically be unkind to these people, and that's not true. That's your
I didn't
projection.
say you're going to be
Yeah, but
unkind.
you're saying like, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. No, you didn't hear me what I said. I
You
am
said it's time to
focusing
give
on.
up.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
I'm reading your
focused.
panel,
I'm
sister.
sorry. I'm talking. I'm focusing on. Yeah, I'm giving up on them, and I'm pouring into black people, brown people, indigenous people, and white women. White men got each other. There are great white men who can break through to other white men and help them, and they're better off because they listen to each other. They listen to each other better. So it's more effective strategically to let them do it than me waste my time doing it when they clearly don't fuck with me like that. So strategically, it makes more sense for them to do it than for me to waste my time when I could be better off doing something more effective. It's strategic and it's more intelligent. It's like work smarter, not harder. But Bill does have his hand raised, and then I want to bring Yatu Saves into the conversation. Go ahead, Bill.
No, you already addressed it. I was just gonna say that you didn't say fuck anybody. It's just like the people that we have in our community. If we come across somebody, air sick that that needs to be deconstructed, we have other people that could take care of that. Other white men in our community that could take care of that. Because we tried doing that and they don't listen to us overall, especially black women. So I'm just grateful that black women, because honestly, Eric, like me and you should be up there. Black women should be giving up on black men, but they still in the paint with us. So Queen, I'm just grateful to pump.
Brother, that's my whole point.
Black women, I love y'all. Thank you for not giving up. I know we let y'all down, but we in this together.
Dog, you literally just proved my point, yet you're going against what I'm telling you. It don't make sense, nephew. You just agreed that there's plenty of brothers that these women can give up on. What I'm getting at is you have good people in this world and bad people in this world. Does that mean we should just give up on people because of their skin color, though? That don't make any fucking sense, man.
Well, he said
if that's the case, we should give up on all the brothers that do wrong in our community.
That's not what.
Okay, so let's give up on all the brothers then. Let's give up on all people, all the brothers. Stop talking over me
with your misogyny. Stop talking.
No, because you're not making sense, sister.
You need to. I did make sense. And you already said I did, so be quiet. Yatu Sabes. You want to say something?
Yeah, I got a.
Thank you, Lenati, for the $15.
You don't like it when I flip the narrative, though.
Thank you, Lenati, for dropping J-Rez because...
She already had hers.
She also said, FYI, J-Rez is not white. Big W's to Lenati in the chat for the $15 on the green app. And I also wanted to say thank you so much for the $10 from Nicole Page Brooks for the $10 on the green app. That said, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So my emotional labor fee is done for the day. All right.
Oh, nice, y'all. Nice.
Yeah,
We
so
did
much.
that in the first hour.
I love you guys. Okay, sir, you wanted to yell at me about something?
I'm not yelling at your sister. I'm telling you that your ideology is dangerous because to your same logic, we should give up on all melanated folk that's doing bad. So just because there's melanated folk doing bad?
Listen up here, sir. I have people in my community that are white men. They are my accomplices and they are willing to do the work. They are going to carry the torch. And they said, your emotional tax and your emotional labor is not needed here. We're going to do the work. Go ahead and do the work over here. Why are you mad that they want to do the work? Why do I have to do the labor for everyone?
I'm not mad at your personal
What's wrong with
take.
you? What is wrong with you?
I'm upset with your message, not your choice.
Get over it.
Your choice as an individual is completely different than your message.
Go get upset with the racist ideology. But you're up here on a black woman's panel.
I call it out all the time.
So you're upset on a black woman's panel that says, hey, I want to build coalitions with black people, brown people, and white women. That's what you're mad about. You're mad at me because I want to spend my time working on white men. That's what you're saying to me. But cállate la boca, because I got something else and more important to do.
Get it.
You don't get it. You keep coming around here.
Your message is dangerous.
I don't.
And the fact that you're defending it so hard
I don't want
is
to
like,
spend
that's
my
crazy.
time. Why don't you go?
Sister, I'm gonna just pray for you.
Go. I already told you. You keep speaking. You be slow to speak.
I'm gonna pray
go
for you,
open
sister.
your Bible. Slow to speak. Go slow to speak. You keep coming off of mute. Perfect. Bill, who's that for?
This kid is crazy.
Bill, who's that for? I already told him I rebuke you in the name of Jesus and you came back. Bill, do
you're,
it.
You're preaching
Bill, do
evil,
it.
though.
Shut the hell up. I'm not preaching evil.
Give up on
the
people.
demon in you. Perfect. It already came out.
She already had hers.
You're obsessed with me because you're mad. Check this out. A black man is up here mad that I don't want to spend my time as a black woman helping deconstruct white men who made it clear that they don't listen to us. I didn't say
Period, Peach. Period.
I didn't say they got to go bye-bye. I just said white men are better off doing it than me, so why not they do it? Like, what the fuck? But big W's to short skirts for I just got back. Why is that man so emotional? Tell him to go whine to his bitch ass mom. Okay. Thank you. And W's to
God damn, short. Your messages are getting more and more shit.
W's to Bill for the fireworks. Oh my God. Sorry you had to hear all that, Runaway Davy, but Runaway Davy, welcome to the panel. Can I have your age for TikTok and your race?
Yeah, thanks for letting me up. No worries. I consider myself like two or more races, or I don't know if I can say that. Some people get weird if I say I'm biracial or multiracial.
What are the two races?
So my dad is indigenous and my mom is white.
Okay. What do you put two races on the
That's what I put on the census. Yeah, two or
what do
more
you
races.
present as?
I present phenotypically very whitey.
Okay. So did you have
Yeah.
like a question? Did you want to ask me about my panel or did you want to comment about something specific?
Well, I was listening to what that last guy was saying,
Yeah.
and I I feel like I'm gonna get like slammed if I even say something. So
You're
maybe it's
fine.
wise for me just to
You're not
not
going to
say
get
anything.
slammed. I mean, if you go off of his logic, then just have your own logic and your own approach. He just came up here to yell at me, but what did you want to
Yeah.
ask me about my reasoning? And he just came to yell at me.
Yeah, I mean, I would
Ask
love
me.
to know more about
Mhm.
your reasoning. And then if I could state my opinion, that would be awesome.
Sure. Do you want to know why I said it's time to give up on white men?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd love to learn more.
Yeah. So check. Oh, hold on one quick second. I have to check something. Oh, um, and big W's to Shauna on the blue app for the $15. It said W Clean Nuts. Big W's to Clean Nuts. And that is for the indigenous people because, yes, they bathed. We love that they bathed. Big W's for bathing and clean nuts. Yes. Hey, Pedro.
Wait,
So
what?
yeah, well, because I was reading in Indigenous Peoples History of the
Oh,
United
okay. I
States.
thought you all were being like hateful towards
No, it was
indigenous.
from
I was all,
no.
oh, sorry. I didn't know what that
You're
meant.
making a lot of assumptions about us. Don't do that. Because you might like it here because we're all about Black and Brown unity. That's the whole purpose of my prompt. So the reason why I have this prompt is throughout my career, and like what I do for a living, and just spending my time recently over the past year on TikTok doing live stream debates, I've just come to the position that it's just time to give up on white men as far as taking the lead on trying to deconstruct, trying to break through, and those are more the ones that are problematic. I have found that they receive information better from men who look like them, right? From the information that I've gathered from the historical context, I know who has been what you would say in animal terms the apex predator. And what makes them the apex predator is that they have the tool and utilization of systematic racism here in the United States, right? They have the ability to utilize it to their benefit if they can figure out how to use it. So from my position, I'd rather Black people, brown people, indigenous people, and white women to just start focusing on ourselves, building our own coalitions, working on advocating and promoting our interests, maybe focusing on voting in candidates that look like us, figuring out the needs of what we want, passing laws that benefit us. Because when you look back in history, white men have gone are overrepresented throughout time and currently in positions of power and leadership from private sectors into government. And they tend to lead with their interests first. And most of the time, we do get left behind. And there are, quote unquote, what you would say good white men, or what I say non practicing whites, or white men that are doing the work. I fully support them going in and helping speak to that community and hopefully making a change and a difference there. I don't, it's harmful for me to keep wasting my time and being damaged. So it's just time to give up on white men. And I'm going to focus my energy and efforts on Black people, brown people, Indigenous women, and hopefully white women. And this is also strategic when I look at the numbers when it comes to elections and population sizes as well, if I'm going to be also quite frank. So that's kind of like the overview. So I can pause so I don't go on too long. So now that you hear that, if you would like to respond, is fine.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, it sounds like you know what lane you're going into. You're not saying, I guess just so I'm clear, you're not saying like, you know, white tea man or white man. Like, I guess if they were interested in becoming part of this group, you're not saying like, oh, you're not welcome. You're just saying like, I'm not gonna deal with it anymore. Like personally, I know my lane. I know where I'm best suited. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I am also trying to encourage Black people, brown people, Indigenous people, and white women to also stop wasting their time supporting and doing what white men want and focus on what we need to get done.
Yeah, I can respect that to some extent. My only concern personally, if I can, is it okay if I state it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like, so I'm part of a community that's minority, right? Like I'm also part of the rainbow community.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like personally when people try to like always, you know, separate. Like I've seen this with the church, right? The church for the longest time is like, oh, everybody's welcome except rainbow people. And we saw how that went, right? Or society said, oh, everybody's welcome except people of color. My only concern is like how this feels like the same thing, but just reversed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to see how it's not.
Mm-hmm. So
Does that make sense?
I didn't say anybody was rejected. I'm just giving up on focusing on what they want to get done. Right.
Yeah.
Like if there's a
Okay, so
list,
you're just saying like you know what works for you. I guess.
like if there's like a list of like, oh, we need things done, their list is down here. Like you're in the rainbow community. What do Black transgender women need? They're gonna be my first focus. Right? Because their unalivements have gone up 93% in the last 4 years, but how many people are talking about it?
Yeah, and I think both. Do you think both can be true? That like, you know, people of color who are trans definitely need help, but I don't think it should come at the cost of neglecting a whole nother. Because then in 10 to 5 years or 10 to 15 years, if everybody neglects YT men, then we're gonna have a whole nother crisis in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I said Black trans women. I didn't say people of color. I was very specific. Black transgender women, unalivings, schmurders have gone up 93% in the last 4 years, and nobody is talking about it. That's disproportionate, and I was very specific when I said it for a reason, and that's on, and like that's part of like my prompt, right? And white men, even even being in the community, they still get to use something called systematic racism for their advantage. Black transgender women do not, right? So as far as I'm concerned, they are going to be fine right now, for the most part, at least for now. Black transgender women, they're definitely going to be targeted way quicker. They have less time. Like
yeah,
they have like more holes in their bottom than a white man in the community. Yes, a white man in the community has things that they're up against. I'm not going to say that they don't, but at the same time, they're able to be a white man in a country that has systematic racism that it's not being dismantled. And if anybody can dismantle it, it would be white men. So if I can have white men like the man above you, Everett, break through to white men who have the power to dismantle it, that would be fantastic. But I do know that as a Black woman, I clearly don't have the power to dismantle systematic racism. It's something that we have been fighting to get through to be dismantled. And it has not happened like at
Yeah,
all.
I mean, I totally get your logic. My only fear is like within every community of people, right? There's a spectrum of color, right? I present very YT, but if you knew my family history, you would not think that after you met them and saw them and heard about what happened to them, right? Like we are from the San de Cristo Mountains, Inde. I know my lineage. I know my tribal leader. I know what's been taken from us, but I present very YT, right? So if you saw me on the street, you would be like, oh, that white guy's fine. Even though I've experienced homelessness, even though I'm part of the rainbow community, even though I'm indigenous,
Hmm.
right? Like you would not suspect that or see that on me, but I might need help because of my family history. And my only fear is if like we stigmatize people based on how they look versus what they go through, are
I'm
we
not
doing a
though.
disservice?
But
You
see,
know?
Can
I'm
I
not. This,
respond to Davy?
Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah. Let me bring you in first. Anita, may I know your age and your race?
Yes, I'm a Black woman. I'm 36. I'm Cameroonian American. I want to always lead with that context.
Of course. And then after Anita and then Everett, if you wanted to jump in, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm interested in responding to Davy because I hear you, Davy, and I hear your family experience and everything. I think, though, that it's disconcerting to me that you seem concerned more with like how you would feel with that rejection as opposed to what people actually need, which is to build in spaces that they feel are safe for them. It's about building in a safe space. It's about having that place where you don't have to do these micro calculations every single second to make sure that you're like amongst people who will not make you feel unsafe. Your feelings, like presenting as a YT person, even though you're biracial, you have to understand that people are making calculations all the time. It's not about your feelings, it's about their safety. It's about how you read as powerful under this empire and they read as condemned, and they need to have a safe space where they are amongst people who also read as condemned under this empire, and they know that they can build amongst people who understand that intrinsically. It's really not about your feelings.
For sure. But like if you think about
Hold on,
careers,
can I say something real quick? I'm sorry.
oh
You
wait,
know
could I
what?
just respond to her real fast?
Bill's my co-host, so he's gonna
Oh,
respond.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I
look.
might get lost on what she said before if he
Well,
says
write it
something.
down, please.
It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't talk long. I have a lot of one-liners. You know, I just my biggest thing is it's just remarkable that this black people and for the older people in the chat, please let me know about this. We tried this route of let's do it, let's come together. I don't want to see race. Don't judge me by my race and things like that. White people, especially white men, have showed us repeatedly that that is not the same time that they are on. Oh, I'm not saying every white man, but overwhelmingly, they are saying that this is not the type of time that they're on. Now that we're saying that, okay, fine, we'll meet you exactly where you are. You focus on you, we focus on us. We're gonna build our coalitions. If we come together, fine. Now we're people are coming in our spaces, coming in telling us how they're concerned on our end. We're not the ones who started this. If we right now go in the streets and stand in the pavement with y'all, we would get unalive. This girl didn't even want to leave her fucking house because she didn't know when she gonna come back to her son. This is ridiculous. So you need to go in white spaces and say that they should be concerned that they are the danger here and they need to meet us in the middle because we've tried that already and it's cost us our lives.
All right.
Completely agreed.
Go ahead, Runaway, and then Everett.
okay. Yeah, and I totally understand like his, concern, and I don't want to, discredit what he just said, but like this is all I was trying to say in a correspondence to Anita. Like I present very YT, right? Like when you look at my picture, you could probably see I look, but on paper, when I apply for a job, my last name is Martinez, right? Like people are gonna look at my last name and be like, "Oh, is he a Mexican? Is he dirty? Is he?" So I don't in the real world that exists. my family has gone through a shit ton of discrimination being indigenous and being Mexican American. So, this is what my fear is like you don't know somebody's backstory until you ask them, right? I might present very phenotypically white tea, but I'm not white tea. Like, you cannot put me in that category because that's not my culture. Like, it is part of my culture, but it's not my full culture. And this is my concern, is if we do this to every YT presenting person or YT man, we're doing a disservice, because we're really like, oh, let's just put everybody together, right?
Mhm.
Let's just group them all together, just like everybody groups together the rainbow community. Everybody groups together everybody. It's like, I don't like that personally, and that's what I'm just concerned about. And it doesn't negate the fact that there are real things going on in this world that do put people of color at a disadvantage. There is, like, I'm not naive to that, and I see that, right? Like, I'm just saying, can't.
That's exactly what I was saying, though. Like,
Hold on one
you just
second.
said, I don't like that.
Hold
No
on.
one cares
I
about
got
your
I
feelings.
got it. I got
But
Everett.
can't both be
Hold on.
true?
Hold on,
No.
you guys. Hold on.
What do you
Hold on.
mean?
Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry
Okay.
about that.
Okay, no worries. I'm gonna have Everett respond, but I don't. I just want to be clear. I don't think you're hearing me. I think you're under the assumption that if you look like a white man, we're gonna like reject you. You're not listening to a word that I'm saying. I'm saying that we're giving up on taking the lead on helping you deconstruct. Like, we're not taking the lead. Like, I'm not coming to your aid to do anything. Like, you're gonna have to look for a white man to help you, right? Like, your own white people, right? And there are good white men to help you, right? And that should be fine. But you're indigenous, so you're in. I just said I'm focusing on black, brown, indigenous, and white women. So I don't know why you keep excluding yourself from a community that I said that you're a part of because you present white. I didn't say if you present, it doesn't say white presenting men, it says white men. You are indigenous. So you are included in the group of people that I'm not giving up on. But I'm going to pause there and let Everett speak. Go ahead, Everett.
Hi, thanks, Queen. May I say something before I get started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have 151 people in here, and we only have 57 shares. That means not even everyone has shared this live once. If you could go ahead and do that, even if you just click the button and say copy link, that counts as a share, and that would be a wonderful thing.
Period, Pete. Period.
You can also give the host, give the panel, everyone but me. I am a cishet white man. I do not need your help. If you are wanting to or so inclined, you can check the links in the bio for other panelists. They would very much appreciate you meeting any sort of goals they may have. And if you don't have any money, any coins, or any inclination to share, you can also just keep tapping and chatting in the comments, because that is engagement and it will help Queen out. Thank you.
Go ahead, Evie.
So I did want to say that I do appreciate Davey wanting to make sure that people are not left behind. That is a fantastic attitude to have. I also appreciate that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a weird echo. Um, so it's kind of throwing me off. But Davey, I want to point out that the reason that the community's queen is talking about, she's talking about giving up on white men. What she was talking about earlier, she mentioned uh, uh, black trans women. That's because there's a lot of intersectionality there. Um, Black women are more likely to uh, be subject to abuse. They're more likely to be subject to poverty. They're more likely to be subject to a number of disadvantages in our society. Trans women have that additional intersectionality. And white men, by virtue of being white and men, I don't like that I had to use that phrase, but by the very nature of being white and men, they are going to be pretty much.
Did we lose him?
they're going to be pretty much just fine. And that's why we should be the ones deconstructing one another, not putting that labor on women, people of color, indigenous people. It really should not be that labor on Queen. And what she's saying is we need to triage. We need to make sure we're not doing harm, but we're also allocating the resources we have to the people who need it the most.
Definitely. And I appreciate you guys trying to help those people, like I have many friends of different walks of life, and some of them are trans, and I love them, and I'm glad that you guys want to help them because it is awful what's happening to them. I watched my friend literally have to have reconstructive jaw surgery because they got punched in the face, and literally, yeah, it's awful. Like queer folks are definitely under attack a lot of places in the world, especially in the United States, and people of color. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying sometimes you don't know everybody's story based on how they look. And that's all I'm saying is like, you could look at me and say, oh, look at this YT dude, and not realize I've gone through homelessness 3 times, not realizing that I'm indigenous and my people's land has been stolen, not realizing that when I apply for jobs, people see Martinez, right? But I look very
Cutting
YT.
you off, you said this again. You're not listening to me. Everett is on my panel. He is a part of my community. But
Yeah.
Everett is deconstructed and he's doing the work. He's a non-practicing white. I don't need
What
to
am I
do
missing?
I don't need to do shit to help Everett. Everett's doing the work on his own. So Everett is doing the thing that he needs to do so I don't have to do it. He's up here talking to you for me. Right? So that
I must be missing something.
You are, so that I can give up on white men. Everett is going in and doing it for me. That's all I'm saying is I just don't want to do it. See how Everett came up here and pointed out what needs to be done for me so that I can spend my time reading the indigenous people's history to Black, brown, indigenous people and white women instead of taking the time out of my day to explain to white men why I'm not just looking at you, because I'm not going to do what white men did to everybody else and look at their skin color and make assumptions. I don't move like that. I'm a Black woman and I'm also Polynesian. Okay. And I also have indigenous blood in my system, but my indigeneity is Melanesian, which is indigenous to Fiji. I'm an indigenous islander. Okay. I'm just not indigenous to here. My indigenous, I was stolen. So that's why I'm here. Okay. So like, that's the difference. I could be spending my time educating Black, brown, indigenous, and white women about the indigenous people's history of the United States. But what I'm doing right now is explaining to you, who presents as a white man in America, why I am not going to treat you like the white settler colonizers do, because we don't move like that as Black women. That we don't do that. You don't have to worry about that with the coalition that I'm building, because that's what we don't do. But see, whatever does as the white man is what I want white men to do for me. Because when we try to do that with white men, they call me the N-word. They say they gonna grape me. They gonna unalive me. They say I'm gonna swing in a tree. Back in the day, when you would do an insurrection, they would string you up in a tree, and then they would skin you alive, and then they would eat your dick, literally. So like,
That's
at
awful.
this point, yeah, Nat Turner, look it up. At this point, we just like ain't trying to do all that. That's all I'm saying. I'd rather like spend time, like, reading
No,
about
for
you
sure. I
and
totally
history.
get what you're
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
But all I'm trying to say is there's people who are white looking that are not white.
But I'm
Why
not
are
going
you?
off
Oh
of
my!
what they
Why don't
look
you guys
like.
Can
care
I?
Why
about
are
them?
you going
Because
off
it's
of
not
what they
about
look
what they
like?
look like. It's about what they do.
Yeah, but look at people in the comments are like, "Oh, this dude's white. He's white. He doesn't
Because
know
you're
oppression."
acting,
This is the
you're
point.
acting white. It's what you're
What
doing.
does that even
You're
mean?
leaning because you keep centering everything about your whiteness. You're
And you're in.
centering
Because that's how
your
people do it for
victimization.
me. It's
But
annoying.
what I'm telling you, what you're doing right now is
I wish
centering.
people could look at my indigenousness, like,
Then
because
But
that
you
is
did it
part
to
of
stop.
me.
Queen though. Hold on, Queen. I'm so
I'm
sorry, but
so
I'm finna clock
lost
this
right
shit.
now.
No, first of
Maybe
all,
the
you
way
did
you
it to.
guys talk doesn't make
Excuse
sense to
you. You
me.
did it to Queen when you came up here. You came up here all timid. Can I ask a question?
I'm
Can
trying to
I?
learn, but I'm not gonna be
Insinuate like
bullied. I'm
she
gonna
a
Neither
leave
You're
have
it,
you.
not
You're
man.
trying to
doing it right
learn.
now.
like she
Yeah,
like
I'd
okay.
leave too.
Yeah.
I would
Of
leave too.
course. Of course.
You're doing the white shit right now. You're acting. You're leaning very into your whiteness right now. I'm a victim.
What
I
did
just don't want
Aaron
to be
say?
yelled at. Are you that your white fragility is showing?
No one
I
says
think
when you're white you don't go through hard things. Those hard things you're going through though, there's other people going through them and you're probably better off because of your whiteness. That's what white privilege is. Doesn't mean you're not going to go through hard shit.
Hillary, I know you wanted to say something, girl, but he ran. What you want to say? Oh, wait. He ran. Hold on.
Girl, she already done had hers.
Can I actually eventually respond to the prompt because I do disagree with the prompt?
Yeah, that's totally fine. 1 second. Go ahead, Hillary.
By the way, you look marvelous today.
I appreciate you, girl.
The skin is glowing. It's beautiful.
I try.
Okay,
I'm
girl.
about to start having wrinkles though after this.
Oh, I'm like, you doing the Lord's work. Don't worry, you won't get none. Like them crack. But nonetheless, yeah, I feel like his ancestors rose up in him. The white side was just all up there. It's not the fact that we are leaving people behind. Black women have been the forefront for so many years. We've done the job. We've tried to teach. We tried, beg, plead, and unalive. And no one listens. So why should we waste any more energy? Why should our young people waste our young women, our young men? Why should they have to waste energy to kumbaya with people who don't want to kumbaya? Because white men don't want to kumbaya with everybody. I mean, I'm married to a white man.
Thank you.
Who that for?
That was for me running your mouth. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you didn't have to send that. I was a child. You can go, but I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hillary.
It's like he deconstructing and he knowing that he doing the do. My emergency backup husband, he's deconstructing, doing the do. So if I could say, oh, you know how to do it, great. I gave them the tools, they doing it, and I leave them alone unless I want some. Then all of a sudden it's like, hey, but that's it. It's simple as that.
Right. Well, I always love hearing your take, and especially when you bring up that you got two husbands. That cracked me up every time.
Yes, I colonized 2 white men. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, girl! I'm gonna drop you back down in the comments.
I know, right? Let me go. Bye.
Get out of here. All right, Anita. You said that. Well, it's not really like a debate prompt, but I would love to hear your take on why you don't want to give up on white men.
Oh, got you. Oh, no. That's not the disagreement. I fully want to give up on white men. The disagreement is, I think, I petitioned the Black collective that it's time to give up on white people, white women included. I don't know why white women keep getting excluded from these conversations. Frankly, I'm sick of it. I'm on a one-woman campaign to make sure we never forget white women in these debates. I just want to bring that to the collective's attention.
Can I add you? Can I tell you why I didn't tell him not to?
I'm very curious because even you said hopefully white women, which gives credence to my that they can't be 100% trusted.
No, I got you. There's this. It's strategic. So they don't have no power in my coalition, and they're not much trusted in my coalition. The most that they can lead is maybe making bread or butter. That's about it. They have to stand furthest in the back if they get accepted. And if that is the ones that are around, they know it's a very tight ship, and that's because in our Discord we made them watch Deconstructing Karen. And understanding that they have a history of not being there. They were her property too, right? They've been extremely harmful to our community. And what I've been trying to show them is that, isn't it funny how they only believe you when the perpetrator is black or brown, right? White women, and how idiotic it is that you continue to live under the thumb of white men when they unalive you at extreme rates. They are the ones beating your ass the most. And they grape you the most. They make documentaries of how many they continue to like throw you in holes and ditches. And I don't understand why you continue to do the labor for them, why you continue to cook for them while they bang your head between the washer and dryer every day. You outnumber them. If you close your legs, they will go extinct, white women. When we looked at the numbers of the last election, we did see a little bit of a dip, right? So in 2016, clearly you guys didn't even like yourselves because a white woman was actually running. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for joining the Beehive, not the Beehive. We love everything that Beyonce has done for the world. Don't want to get sued. Now, we saw that 53% of white women voted for Trump in 2016, so you didn't even like yourselves because a white woman was running. So I don't want to hear shit about you guys in the patriarchy. It's a fucking lie. 2020, y'all, 53% of y'all still voted for Trump. Now, in 2024, 51% of y'all did vote for Trump. So 2% of a dip. I don't know if it was the Gaza thing. I don't fucking know if it was the leftist thing. I don't really know where you bitches went. But only 51% of you bitches voted for Trump. So I did see a 2% decrease. So I was like, okay, not enough. Could be more. Hoping to be more. But you bitches outnumber these motherfuckers, okay? And you make them. You make them. You make white men. Stop making them. The birth rate is already in the trash can. Okay? It's in the trash can. They want you to make more white men. Stop making them. Stop making them. Okay? Close your legs to them, if anything. I mean, listen. At this point, I don't know. At this point, Anita, I'm trying to find every fucking string I can pull to stop.
I guess I get you, girl. Like, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book about this.
Put this in the chat.
And I'm like,
okay, this could be a footnote.
like, I absolutely am.
Listen,
I'm not even kidding.
Document me.
Literally.
Come into the comments. It might work. I don't know. Side quest. I don't know. We're both trying different angles. Okay, this strategy.
Basically, right. Because I'm telling white women, like, you got 30 minutes. Like, a new world is coming, whether you like it or not. You got 30 minutes to decide who you're going to be.
I told them, if y'all bitches don't get my coalition, Anita writing you out history.
Right.
Anita
exactly.
Says, you're gone. Okay.
The thing is,
or Anita says you're out the door. Okay.
You are out. But the thing is, like, you see in the election, you were talking about it didn't even dip below 50%. That shows, like, what I call them in my framework are shapeshifters. They live on the point between choosing institutional power and solidarity at any given moment. It can literally change from second to second. No one else has that power. No one else lives with that functionality. And the time has come for white women to really decide, like, who are you going to be? What side are you going to be on? And I don't think it serves them to be like, oh, you can be in our coalition, you got to make the bread. No, like, you literally have to disavow yourself from the power identity of this empire. You have to make a choice. And the time is coming for you to choose. So yeah, that's what I'm writing about. So that's why I saw this prompt. I'm like, oh, I got to say something.
Yeah. No,
and that's all I wanted to say here.
And so you see, like, different angles. Listen, I'm trying to get strategic here.
Right.
Like, what we got to do, because these white men, listen, I'm done.
They need people like us, both of us.
Women, I'm like, girls, like, ladies, come the fuck on. Y'all bitches, ladies, not bitches. Think about it. They let black men that they considered good economic to vote before y'all. They let them vote before y'all. And don't sit here and think that the egregious shit that they did to enslaved Africans, that your ancestry was just like safe. Like, they weren't touching on y'all too. Are you kidding? No. Did you know that in, I think it was Jamestown, that they went back and they found bones that were carved up of a 14-year-old girl that they ate?
Wow.
Y'all didn't know that? You're going to find out in our upcoming episode. A 14-year-old girl that they chose to eat because y'all motherfuckers don't know how to fucking farm on indigenous land, and you guys had to eat each other. A man unalived his wife and cooked her and ate her And then they went back and they found bones of a 14-year-old girl. Bitches, they take you out first. When they, instead of dowry, we just learned this in the 1619 Project in Chapter 6, Capitalism. They gave you enslaved hands instead of land and homes and money because they were more valuable. Okay, sure. But then look what happened with the abolishment. With the abolishment of slavery, bitches, y'all had nothing after that, right? Your property's gone. Do you think that your family went back? You think daddy went back and gave you shit? No. In the Constitution, bitch, you weren't even considered a citizen alongside their property and everybody else. Okay? You couldn't even have a fucking bank account until the 70s. So the fact that you keep thinking that upholding what they want is good, and I don't want to hear not one white bitch be like, no, I got a son. I gotta make sure that, like, I advocate for him. Okay. Well, there were plenty of sons that grew up and became presidents. Why the fuck didn't they change shit for their mamas when they got in there? Nothing stops your son from turning 18 and becoming more important than you in society. Immediately, he becomes more important. And they never come back and change shit for you. And I'm sorry, tell me one that did, because they haven't. I'm waiting. It doesn't happen. So white women, you can keep playing yourself, or you can start waking up and realize you outnumber them. You need to start advocating for yourselves. There was a time in history where you bitches did, and then you got stagnant. I don't know why, but it's time to wake up. And I'm trying to shake y'all hoes up to get y'all to start talking to your own bitches. But if you let me down, then I'm gonna be like Anita and be like, okay, it's done. Then we're out. But no, I appreciate you, Anita. So I'm gonna drop you down, boo. I hope you come back because I want you to take notes and see.
Absolutely.
The
Period, period.
Yeah, the title
It'll
of
be
the
called
footnote.
We Were Never the Problem. Thanks, y'all.
Period. All right, I'm dropping you down. Big W's to Anita in the chat. I loved it. All right, y'all. We are about 30 minutes left into the live. And, still, we had somebody here who was intersectional. First of all, why is Yatu Saves going around keep calling himself white?
Because when he used to go up on the panels, remember, people used to say he was white, so he just started.
He told me
Because
that
he
he
used to
wasn't
say he
white.
was. Yeah, he used to say that.
Like for what?
Yeah, he used to say that.
Your stalker's
Yeah.
here, Bill. Anyways, I don't know why he in here being rude. I ain't done nothing to you.
Hey,
Leave the fucking live.
hey,
Titties.
Dante. Hey, buddy.
Titties, leave. Like, I don't know why you in here. I'm talking shit to white men and you're being a hater for no reason. Bye, titties. Anyways. So, like I was saying, settler colonialism is a G-side policy, right? And one of the things that we have to understand is American historians do not want to even recognize that, because then that removes the lie that they tell you about America. And at one point, because it was classified and after the H cost, they had to go back and rectify it because it said it included I will get to that point when they did it, because at first it wasn't until the term G-side was coined following Shoah or H cost, and its prohibition was enshrined in the UN and adopted in 1948 in the UN Convention on the prevention and punishment of the crime of G-side. The convention is not retroactive, but is applicable to U.S. indigenous relations since 1988, when the U.S. Senate ratified it, right? The terms of G-side convention are also useful tools for historical analysis of the effects of the colonialism in any era, okay? In the convention, any one of the 5 acts is considered G-side Okay. This is the definition of it. Committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, um, racial, or religious group. Okay. That's the definition of a G side. So these are the 5 things that classify in it: unaliving members of the group, okay, causing serious bodily or mental harm of members to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Those are the 5 different factors that they lay out for G side, right? Now, during this time, the Native Nation communities were struggling to maintain, right, their fundamental values collectively, and they began to resist. And modern colonialism, they're using both defensive and offensive techniques, and they were doing things that modern forms of armed resistance of national liberation movements. And you know what they call the things that they were doing back then, what they call them today, Bill? You want to take a guess?
Mm, what?
Just take a wild guess. The things that the natives nations were doing to defend themselves from settler colonization. So let's take a recap. Settler colonization cannot exist without violence, right? Because
Right.
they are forcibly taking land from people, and they're not giving it up. So they have to violently remove it, okay? And they,
Mhm.
indigenous people, were standing in resistance, right? And the forms in which
Mhm.
they resist in modern day, they call it something very specific when other people do it. What do you think the term is? It's an easy term. You guys hear it all the time.
Not protest.
Nope.
Was it nonviolent resistance or civil disobedience?
So somebody said it in the chat. Thank you, Olani. T-rism. The definition of T-rism today is what the Native nations were doing. The same offensive techniques of what they label T-rism today is what the Native nations were doing in order to maintain their fundamental values and collectivity against settler colonization. Right? Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
would never guess that.
yeah, because that's not what we're conditioned to understand. So think about it from like what we've seen in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Right? In every
Mhm.
instance, they have fought for survival as people. Okay. The objective of U.S. colonists authorities was to terminate their existence as peoples, not as random individuals. This is the very definition of modern G side as contrasted with pre modern instances of extreme violence that did not have the goal of extinction. Okay. Right.
Mhm.
So when we're looking at what's happening, it's currently still occurring in the US today because they are still resisting being literally um, taken out entirety as people because the literal existence of indigenous people in the United States today, literally their home, is the evidence of the G side that Europeans committed when they came here, literally by their resistance, which is why I said at the beginning, in order to literally um, fight what we're trying to fight, we should be standing with indigenous people from the jump. And they're crazy. It's crazy work how they continue to like paint them. There's like, and you see it all the time, but you don't clock it together. And that's why I love this book. And it's a great book that everybody should get. And again, if you don't know what book I'm reading, it's an Indigenous Peoples History of the United States. And all that I'm going through right now is just the introduction. And I wanted to do this because we're going to read this book on live, me, myself, and Sajida. So this gives you a little glimpse of like how great the book is going to be. It's going to be tough though. So, anyways, what I wanted to point out is some of the ways that the United States has tried to covertly continue to eliminate or commit G-side in modern day to Indigenous people is control them indirectly as with Christian missionaries and alcohol, right? Because they use economic penetration of indigenous societies. The Europeans and Euro-American colonial powers created economic dependency and an imbalance of trade, then incorporated indigenous nations into spheres of influence, and then, like I said, and controlled them directly with indispensable use of Christian missionaries and alcohol. In the case of U.S. settler colonialism, land was the primary commodity. With such obvious indicators of colonialism at work, why should so many interpretations of U.S. political economic development be convoluted and obscured, avoiding the obvious? Right?
Mm.
It's fucked up. So, and it goes deeper into like defining more about settler colonialism, how it's the system requires violence and a threat of violence to attain its goals. Like, so when they call themselves settlers, they're literally like telling you that, oh, ice cream, so good. I missed it. They're literally telling you that like they are violent people. So I don't know why they run with this, but their form of it is just they're they're committing G-side. That's what they're basically admitting to. But okay.
Right.
What were you saying, Bill?
I just said right.
Okay. So here's another thing that's really annoying. They try to paint it as if like people just handed over their their land to them. So like the notion that settler indigenous conflict is an inevitable product of cultural differences and misunderstandings, or that violence was committed equally by the colonized and the colonizer, blurs the nature of the historical process. Euro-American colonialism, an aspect of the capitalist economic globalization, had from its beginnings a G-side tendency. The term, and then it tells you more about how the term G-side was committed, and I let you know what that meant, so you understand that America was founded and is a nation that, yes, has and continues to commit G-side here. So when you hear leftists, I always love saying this to leftists, and I usually talk about it when I talk about African American people, and the G side that the colonists, you can call them settlers because we're still freaking committing G side either way. And they're like, I didn't vote for anybody. I actually voted third party because of the G side happening. Bitch, what about the G side that's actually being committed here against Indigenous people? Did you ever like change your vote for that? No, because you don't even recognize it. Sorry if you had headphones in and I screamed, but I'm irritated. They don't even recognize it, and it's continuing to happen. But like, bitch, the fuck? Sorry, Lord, I'm not supposed to be swearing. I'll repent later.
Since when? Oh, never mind.
I'm supposed to have better. I'm not supposed to be swearing like that. My bad. Oopsie. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. My pastor called me while I was on here. I'm like, oh my God, is he watching? If you are a pastor, my bad. I'm like, is that why you called? Oops. Settler colonialism is inherently G-side in terms of the G-side Convention, right? In the case of the British North American colonies and the United States, not only extermination and removal were practiced, but also the disappearing of the prior existence of indigenous people. Remember, I had wrote that I had laid that out in the 5 different ways that you classify G-side in different terms, right? So there's this thing called writing Native Americans out of existence with the firsting and the lasting. Okay. And this is how they tell the story of indigenous people when they talk to you about them. They will narrate the story of the first settlement, right? The founders of the first school, the first dwelling, the first everything, as if there had never been occupants who thrived in those places before your Americans, right? They always talk about like white people as if they was the first to do anything. They didn't even bathe. They had sweaty settler balls. On the other hand, then there's a national narrative that tells of the last Native Americans, were like they said here, Indians, so I'll just use the word they use, or last tribes, such as the last of the Mohicans. I know y'all heard that before. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's like Ishi, the last Indian, right? And the end of the trail, as a famous sculpture by James Earl Fraser is titled, right? It's always the last of it, right? It's always the first white man and then the last of this. It's like always super intense. And so they do that on purpose. It's like all like a psyop. They've been psyoping us for a minute. So there are documented policies of G-side as a part of U.S. administrations that we can identify at least 4 distinct periods of G-side against indigenous people throughout American history, right? Bill, do you know any of them? You want to try to name any? Or Everett? Or the chat? I want to see if you guys know any of them. And do you guys know any eras in history of indigenous G-side?
I mean, I'm gonna say Cortez, but I don't know what the era would be.
American history, U.S. American history.
God, somebody say it, please.
Wow, you guys.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Indigenous
Aha,
history
Queen.
is my weakest.
Thank you, Queen of, what was that? Azania?
Oh,
There you go.
Queen, that's what I was about to say too.
Well,
You
you did
stole
it.
my comment,
You did it.
girl.
The Jacksonian era of forced removal, which led to the Trail of Tears. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're in that era. Okay. We're talking about U.S. American history. Okay. 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 Then the second, there's 4. Okay. Then another one that is documented is the post-Civil War era of the so-called Indian Wars in the Great Plains. Yeah, is it clicking? And then we also have the 1950s period, right? And the one that I know, because I had to study it, is the California gold rush in Northern California. Those are 4 different documented times in history of indigenous G-side. Okay. These are cases of G-side carried out as policy, right? That was the key word, policy. So this is American policy written to commit G-side on indigenous people. Think about that. Right? It's terrible.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
And then they want me to sit here and be all advocates for white men. Look what they've been doing. Then it goes further, and this is just the overview of the book. That's really exciting. Then it even goes further into talking about like the concept of the reservation. So, by chance, do any of y'all know what was the purpose of a reservation? Oh, Alani. Oh, trust me. After I get through indigenous people, we gonna dive into what they did to Hawaii.
Well, for what I understand, it was that was another lie, but it was to push out the indigenous people, and they was promised, all of this land and stuff, but it ended up not actually being what it was.
Hey, Olive.
Uh, and a
It
lot
was
of
also
them suffer from lack of resources, um, alcoholism, and stuff like that. You
What
want to
about you,
fact check
Everett?
me?
it was also for re-education and quote unquote civilization.
Hmm. That's what they told you. Okay. Do y'all know how many roughly how many federally recognized indigenous communities and nations there are in the United States by chance? You can give me a ballpark. We can guess. Chad, how many do you think there are? Ballpark, ballpark. Federally recognized indigenous communities and nations right now, United States. Okay, Alani. We can, okay. There's more than what Alani said. Okay. Ooh, more than that, y'all. Okay. In the United States. That was a shocker. Less than that. Okay. There are more, well, maybe short skirts. There are more than 500 federally recognized indigenous communities and nations comprising nearly 3 million people in the United States right now. Okay. These are the descendants of 15 million original inhabitants of the land, that majority of whom were farmers who lived in towns. The U.S. establishment of a system of Indian reservations stemmed from the long British colonial practice in the Americas. In the era of U.S. treaty making from independence to 1871, the concept of the reservation was one of the indigenous nation reserving a narrowed land base from a much larger one in exchange for U.S. government protection from settlers and the provision of social services. They needed protection from settlers. That's why reservations started, was because settlers were committing G-cide and going against what the British colonies said they weren't supposed to like do and shit. But then this is what we learned. This is why you guys said that. In the late 19th century, as indigenous resistance was weakened, the concept of the reservation changed to one of land being carved out of the public domain of the United States as a benevolent gesture or a gift to the indigenous people. The rhetoric changed so that reservations were said to have been given or created for Indians. With this shift, Indian reservations came to be seen as enclaves within state boundaries. Despite the political and economic reality, the impression to many was that indigenous people were taking a free ride on public domain. What do you guys think about that?
Yep, I'm not surprised. I'm glad that you got the first part for me because I knew about the resources and because I remember when I was doing my reading a couple of months ago, I looked into it, and that's how they got the reserves in Oklahoma. A lot of them are in Oklahoma and the Dakotas and stuff like that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it reminds me of, it just shows you how they will change the rhetoric around people. Oh, of course, Lou said. We are going to talk more about your people. Me and Sajida are actually going to do, we're going to be reading an Indigenous Peoples History of the United States. I wanted, actually, this was spur of the moment to do a walkthrough, but I think it aligns of why it's time to give up on white men and Indigenous people. You are a part of the people that I am not going to give up on. And I specifically always separate Indigenous people when I say brown people, because historically, if you understand history, they are their own people. They deserve to be acknowledged as Indigenous people. and it is a part of their resistance. And I know by the end of this book, I'm not even all the way through, and I'm already on the vibe as in that this is a Black American woman saying this. Two atrocities can be committed by the same perpetrator at the same time. Okay. The G-side that was happening to Indigenous people was occurring while the book is called The Indigenous People's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz. I'm gonna keep it holding it. Two atrocities happening at the same time by the same perpetrator. Okay. They were committing a G-side, continue to do on Indigenous people. And I believe you can also get it off of the TikTok shop. And they're still doing it. And the biggest act of resistance to settler colonization, which settler colonization is a form of G-side. And their resistance is what they call today, in modern times, they will call it T-rism, right? And their resistance is their existence, right? And we learned on May 5th, which was a murdered Indigenous Women's Day or People's Day, where there's 10,200 and I believe 48 missing Indigenous people still in Zero National Guard looking for them. Women. Thank you, Lou said. And nobody's looking for them. It's all by design. They are still, because their existence is proof and evidence of what this nation is founded on. It is founded on G-side. There are 100 million Indigenous people in existence in the Americas, and there was only 50 million people in existence in Europe before they came here. They came here and they wiped out so many of them, and they're continuing to wipe them out. If we are going to stand in resistance, I am all about Black and Brown unity, Black, Brown, and Indigenous unity. And we need to resist together. At the same time that they were committing a G-side against them, they were committing, oh, I didn't pay for it. Don't look. Fuck capitalism. They were committing atrocities against my ancestors as well at the same time. Okay, which is chattel slavery, and they were continuing to do it to this day. So this is why it's important to understand your history. You learned the reason why there is a doctrine of discovery, which is based on the Columbus myth. Our nation's capital is the District of Columbia. And if you understand the history of that, how atrocious that is, how disgusting that they continue to name things after something so terrible, knowing what they did. They even they separated Mexican people, like some Mexican people and some Puerto Ricans who were indigenous, to split them up in order to even create a specific type of ethnic group for oppression of indigenous people even further. And now we're seeing Mexican people and Puerto Rican people try to even find their indigenous tribes, just similar to how us Black Americans, African Americans are trying to find our identity as well. There are a lot of similar, not same, but similar things that we can have understanding and empathy for each other. So why fight each other when we can stand together? And I do think standing side by side in resistance against the same op makes us much stronger, which is why I'm going to say it's time to give up on white men, and it's time for us to come together. So that is bringing me close to my time for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed my live today. It was a little fun and spicy. But before I drop down my two lovely guests today, I wanted to start with Everett. Is there anything that you would like to add before I drop?
Period, period.
Well, appreciate you joining the V-Hive, not the Beehive. Beyonce, we love everything that you've done for the world. Everett?
Yeah, the only thing I would like to add is that I love that you're doing all this, and that I fully support the message of your reading and of the message of it being time to give up on white men. It is about time that white men took some accountability for ourselves and one another.
Thank you, Everett. I appreciate you as always. I'm going to drop you down and get your eagle on, girl. As a reminder, if you want to join our Discord, I don't know if the link is linked properly in here. I tried to do it. I don't know if it worked, but you can reach out to me and you can join the Block Discord. Main requirement, you have to be following Bill. He is our fierce leader. So go ahead and follow Bill. I will be on his panel today. You're going twice today, right?
Huh?
Are you doing a double, a DP?
Oh no, it's just one show tonight.
I will be on his panel tonight. So go ahead and give him a follow. And we are going through the 1619 project every one chapter every weekday. Tomorrow will be chapter 7. Go ahead, Bill. What would you like to add?
Okay, great. Nothing. Just make sure that you guys are following us. Appreciate the live today. I have to go be an adult and go grocery shopping, so I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, 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 well. Well, go be nasty. All right, I'm gonna drop you down and get your eagle on, girl, flap your wings. All right, as I always do, I love to leave you with a song.